Motivation is a lie. I'm not here to inspire you. I'm here to tell you the truth. And the truth is the most brutal, simple thing you will ever hear. The biggest lie in modern life is the one you tell yourself every morning. I'll do it when I feel motivated. You wait for the spark. You wait for the morning where you wake up and the world is glowing, where the hard work seems easy, where your mind says, yes, I want to do this difficult thing today. And because that feeling rarely arrives, you quit. You stay soft. You stay exactly where you are. You tell yourself, I'm just not a motivated person. And you use that as a cozy blanket to cover your failure. That blanket is your tombstone. Here is the unbreakable rule. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a system. A mood is temporary. It's an emotion. It's the sugar rush you get from watching some dramatic movie scene or an inspirational video. It feels great for 30 minutes, and then it vanishes. A system is permanent. It is the unshakable compulsion you install in your life that requires you to do the thing that must be done. Whether you feel like a conquering hero or a miserable failure, the people you truly admire, the builders, the athletes, the people who have carved real, tangible success out of nothing. They don't operate on motivation. They operate on compulsion. They don't need to want it. They are compelled to do the work because they know the cost of not doing the work. If you only act when you feel good, you end up a passenger in your own life. You are a ship with no engine, simply drifting wherever the current of your emotion takes you. That is why you are always about to start, but never actually finish anything important. We are stopping that drift right now. The child and the self-betrayal cycle. We need to talk about the voice in your head that controls your actions. You need to ask yourself a very hard question. Is my life run by a man or a child? The child does what he feels like doing. The child stops when his brain says, I'm tired, or this is hard. The child avoids pain at all costs, even if that pain is the one simple, necessary action that would solve his biggest problems. The man does his duty. The man understands that life is a series of hard choices. He does what he knows must be done, because that single act of duty is the non-negotiable price of his future. Every single time you listen to the child, you commit an act of self-betrayal. Think about it this way. You promise yourself, I'm going to the gym at 6 a.m. The alarm goes off. The child in your head starts whispering, it's raining. Just this once. You'll go tomorrow. You hit the snooze button. You just broke a promise to the person who matters most in your life, yourself. That is why you struggle with self-respect. It's not because you're a failure. It's because you are a promise breaker. You have trained your subconscious mind that when the going gets tough, your word means absolutely nothing. You take out an emotional debt against your own character. You accumulate shame. You don't wake up feeling bad about yourself because of what other people think. You wake up feeling bad because you know you are consistently letting yourself down. Your self-respect is not a belief. It is the direct reflection of the promises you keep to yourself. The only way to pay off this emotional debt is through small, immediate acts of duty. When the alarm goes off, the single disciplined act of standing up and putting your feet on the floor is the down payment on your new life. It doesn't matter how you feel 5 minutes later. You kept the promise. That small win is the compound interest of self-respect. The moment you choose duty over feeling, you transition from the emotional child to the disciplined man. That is the fundamental difference between building a legacy and simply wasting a life. The great energy theft. Some people will tell you they are victims of low energy, of being burnt out, or having no drive. They complain that they simply don't have the fuel to tackle their big goals. I will tell you, ruthlessly and honestly, that nobody lacks energy. You are a human being. You are built on the evolutionary imperative to survive, conquer, and build. You have a massive, powerful life force inside you. The problem isn't that you lack energy. The problem is that you are aiming that cannon at a stack of pillows. Or worse, you're letting a thief steal the cannon entirely. I guarantee the person who says they have no energy to go to the gym or to work on their business has enough energy to get absolutely furious when someone cuts them off in traffic. They have enough energy to spend 3 hours scrolling through strangers' lives on social media or fighting pointless battles in comment sections. That is high-intensity, wasted, misdirected energy. The modern world is a massive, highly efficient machine designed specifically to steal your focus and your drive. It thrives on keeping you scattered and emotionally reactive. It constantly serves up digital bread and circuses, celebrity drama, political theater, things that give you a tiny, meaningless dopamine spike but do absolutely nothing to improve your life. Your focus is your most finite, valuable resource. It is your fuel. Every moment you dedicate your focus to someone else's agenda, the news cycle, a company's social media feed, a celebrity's crisis, you are pouring your own fuel into a fire that doesn't warm your own house. You are letting them steal your intensity. This scattershot life is why you feel weak, scattered, and unmotivated. You are constantly depleted because you are funding everyone else's success with your attention, and you have nothing left for your own. You need to recognize this trap and stop signing up for things that don't directly benefit your health, your bank account, or your family's future. Your house is where your focus belongs. Stop pouring fuel into fires that don't warm your own house. Discipline means ruthlessly defending your attention budget. The confidence illusion and the competence gap. Let's talk about self-doubt. Everyone complains about low self-esteem. They want to know the trick to feeling more confident. I'm going to tell you the hardest truth about self-doubt. For most people, it is not a flaw or a mental illness. It is an accurate assessment of their reality. Your self-doubt is your brain's internal accountant doing an audit. If the balance sheet is weak, if your bank account is low, your body is neglected, your relationships are fragile, how can you expect your mind to feel strong? You'd have to be delusional not to doubt yourself if you are an incompetent individual. Your mind is simply reflecting the weakness of your life structure. Self-doubt is not cured by silly affirmations, feel-good mantras, or inspirational music. Self-doubt is cured by competence. The only way your mind will quiet its negativity and stop fighting you is when you start building undeniable physical evidence of your own ability. You don't become confident by saying, "I am strong." You become confident by doing something hard and succeeding at it. When you can look at a problem, a debt, a difficult project, a heavy lift, and say, "I solved one harder than this last week," the doubt shrinks. When your wallet is secured by skills you built, your training is consistent, and your word is reliable. Your mind gains an automatic, unshakable strength. A strong mind is an extension of a strong reality. It works the other way, too. Your weak mindset is not the cause of your problems. It is the result of your weak life. You cannot trick your mind into confidence. You cannot lie to it. It sees the truth of your actions. So, stop trying to fix your mind with mental tricks. Stop looking for the magic phrase. Fix your life with discipline, and the mindset will follow. Give your brain evidence that you are capable. Stack the wins. The monogamy of mastery. Let's look at the reality of real success. It's not sexy. It's not a viral highlight reel. It is the most boring thing you can imagine. Do you want to achieve mastery in anything? In business, a specific skill, or a competitive sport? The entire secret is this, and it's non-negotiable. You do the same thing over and over for a decade. That's it. Repetition, grinding, showing up when it's dull. The ability to stay focused on one single, boring, necessary task for an absurdly long period of time. This is why the lack of attention span today is such a catastrophic weakness. We are raising an entire generation, and you are one of them, on immediate feedback and instant entertainment. Your phone gives you a tiny blast of dopamine every 10 seconds. How can someone who is conditioned to that constant, frantic stimulus, suddenly sit down and focus on a complex skill or a dry financial spreadsheet for 3 hours straight? They can't. Their attention is broken. Their mind fights them like a spoiled child. They lack the discipline for sustained attention. If you don't have the ability to focus, if you are easily distracted by every notification and shiny new opportunity, life will punish you. You will be passed up by people who are less naturally talented than you are, but who simply had the patience and the discipline to stay at the table longer than you did. Discipline is nothing more than monogamy to your long-term goal. Monogamy means undivided, exclusive loyalty. You cannot cheat on your goal with distractions, with pointless entertainment, with other people's drama, and still expect to be successful. Every moment spent on a distraction is a moment stolen from your ultimate achievement. You must choose. Do you want to flirt with every little feeling and distraction? Or do you want to commit to the one thing that will actually change your life? Be faithful to the hard, boring process. That is the path to mastery. You cannot build a fortress with people who are content to live in tents. Your discipline is not an isolated attribute. It is highly contagious, both positively and negatively. You are the absolute, undeniable average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your inner circle is made up of people who constantly complain, who avoid hard work, who live for the weekend, and who actively mock your attempts to improve, then your discipline will be under constant attack. They will drag you back down to their level because your ambition makes them uncomfortable. The relational pillar requires ruthless gatekeeping. You must be disciplined about who you allow into your time, your space, and your mind. You need people who will hold you accountable to your highest standards, not your lowest moods. You need people whose success inspires you, not people whose failure makes you feel better about your own inaction. If someone in your life is a constant source of gossip, emotional drama, or distraction, you must create distance. This isn't cruel. It's necessary self-preservation. Defend your circle. Don't trust your memory. Your mind is for thinking, strategizing, and creating, not for storage. Your mind will happily lie to you, rewrite history, and forget the hard lessons you paid for with pain. If you are serious about becoming wealthy, powerful, and successful, you must keep a record. You must keep a logbook of your transformation. Write it all down. Every valuable idea you encounter, every mistake you make, every lesson you learn, every promise you break, and every promise you keep. This journal is not a diary of your feelings. It is the legal document proving your duty was fulfilled. It is where you record the evidence of your competence, where you refine your philosophy, and where you hold yourself absolutely accountable to your duty. This logbook is your fortress against the lies your weak mind tells you. When you feel like you haven't made any progress, the logbook will show you the thousands of disciplined steps you took. You write it down not for the future, but to keep yourself honest in the present. We live in a world that wants to make you soft. It wants you to stay distracted, wait for the perfect feeling, and blame external forces, the government, the economy, your bad luck, for your lack of success. It wants you to believe you are a victim. And when you believe you are a victim, you never have to be responsible for the lack of results in your life. But you are not a victim. You are the descendant of people who fought, built, and endured unimaginable hardships for you to exist. Your ancestors did not lie down and give up when they didn't feel motivated. They didn't hit the snooze button on the hunt or the harvest. They endured famine, war, disease, and brutal labor. They showed up, not because they felt like it, but because they understood duty. They fulfilled their obligation to their family, their future, and their survival. You have inherited their endurance. You have inherited the potential to be a disciplined, formidable force. Wasting that potential is not just a personal failure, it is an insult to the history that created you. You owe it to them. You owe it to your future children and the people who rely on you. Most of all, you owe it to yourself to be the most powerful, disciplined, and competent version of you that can possibly exist. The life you want is not waiting for a feeling. It is waiting for the one person who has the discipline to show up every day, regardless of how they feel. Stop waiting for the feeling. Start fulfilling the duty. The time for waiting is over. The time for compulsion is now. Subscribe if you're ready to be disciplined.